Hi, I am, yes.
Okay, so before I pass it on to you, I'll just do a quick introduction. So everyone, good afternoon. We are here for the Nail Your Next virtual presentation by Karina. So Karina is an engineer at Intel with the IoTG, the Internet of Things group. She's an active member of Toastmasters and has achieved the Distinguished Toastmaster Award. She enjoys public speaking, be it emceeing at events, presenting technical papers in conferences, or competing in speech contests. So without further ado, I'll pass it on to you, Karina.
Thank you so much. Let me first share my screen. And just tell me if you can see my screen.
Yeah, we can see your screen.
All right, awesome. So thank you very much, Nikki, for the very warm welcome. Again, my name is Karina, and I'm delighted to be able to share with you this afternoon about this topic on how to help you nail your next virtual presentation. Public speaking and presentation, they're not really something new, right? I think all of us have had that opportunity to present one time or another, even when we were in a very young age. Maybe in primary school, we must have had to go in front of the class and present something, right? So this is a skill that has become more and more common in recent times. But actually, even for me, when COVID came about, my world went totally bonkers. A lot of things that was normal to me did not become normal anymore. On speaking and on my speaking career, it just wasn't really normal. I had a lot of things that we had to learn. To be very flexible, learn new things, and perhaps today, what I wanted to do was share a little bit of my learnings that I learned for this particular year, right? But for me personally, I always find that it's even more fun or easier to learn something or to get information about something from someone that you know. And as much as I would really love to have an ice breaking session, I think we have about 130 plus people in the call. If we were to do an ice breaking session, I think we will never even get into the content. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share a little bit about myself along the way in this presentation. There will be some opportunities or some discussion for this sharing to be a little bit more interactive. And I hope some of you would volunteer and share a little bit about your experience or what you think. And when you do, I would like it very much if you maybe introduce yourself, tell everyone your name and which university you're from, and maybe one random thing about yourself, and then proceed to share whatever you want to share, right? So I'll start first myself. I am from Sabah, but I have been staying in Penang for almost about 13 years now. I've started working at Intel, actually a little secret. Um, Intel is actually my first job from when I first started, when I first graduated. I'm lucky enough that Intel is big enough to have a lot of roles for me to kind of learn like the industry and the different roles. So that's where I've been almost 13 years now. As mentioned, I'm in the Internet of Things group. I'm also with an organization, or I've joined the Toastmasters International. And here I would like to ask, are there any Toastmasters in the room? Maybe you could share the reaction. I think there's this reaction button here, right? You can like raise your hand or send whatever reaction. So I do see a couple of hands up going on here. Oh, nice, nice to see fellow Toastmasters here in the room. So I have been an active Toastmaster member since 2014, and the reason, let me share a little bit why I joined Toastmasters. So I have been, I am an engineer. I studied engineering and then I became an engineer. And at that time, I always thought that engineers don't really need to speak, right? They can just sit in their cubes behind their laptops and do whatever. Well, I'm a software engineer, so I could code. I don't really need to speak. My mother, she's an educator. She always asked me to, go ahead. You should join Toastmasters, right? I always told her that I didn't need to. But after some time, I did reach a point in my life or in my career that I really did need to speak. I do a lot of amazing things in the lab, But if I can't articulate it correctly, what happens is that someone would speak for me on behalf of me for something that I did. And that's a little bit of a waste, right? You spend all that time, your hard work, your energy doing those things, and you also want to be credited for those innovations, right? And I think that was a main turning point for me, where I said, you know what, let me just see what Toastmasters is all about. I joined in 2014. I've been a member ever since. I have finally gotten my Distinguished Toastmaster Award last year. And currently, I could say that my speaking career consists of being an Intel in-house MC. Whenever there are Intel events, I would be one of the people called upon to MC those events. I do compete in speech contests. Sometimes I do win, sometimes I don't, but it's a very good learning process for me, as well as in my career line, I do with all the innovation that I do in the lab. Previously, it's just to tell the manager what I've done in the lab. Now I've come to a point that, you know what, I want to share with the community what I've done. And I have had some very good experiences sharing or presenting some technical cases. 3 random things about myself. So I have a cat. The cat's name is Ollie. He may make an appearance. Perhaps just now I left him sleeping in the living room, but normally when he hears me speaking, he would come and be curious and see what's happening. So he's going to come perhaps. So hopefully you get the opportunity to meet my cat. I love drinking coffee. I drink coffee all day, every day. I actually don't count how many cups of coffee I drink, because people like to nag me saying that I drink too much. So if I don't count them, then I wouldn't know. Then I can only say I've just drank 1 cup, right? And one more random thing about myself is I do like bubble tea. It is very sweet. I'm trying to not drink too much, but once in a while I do like to go out and drink bubble tea with my friends. That's a little bit about me. I hope later on I'll get the opportunity to perhaps learn a little bit more about some of you on the call, right? I wanted to share a short little video. I felt that it was a very fun video about virtual presentations. So let me just play it here for you.
Hey, Paul. Thanks for being here on time. Paul? Hey, Paul, can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hey, guys.
Hey, Tyler.
Sorry I'm late. Having a hard time connecting.
1 second. Paul's having a sound issue.
I can't hear you. Try adjusting your output settings.
Can you hear me?
It's the gear icon.
Tyler, are you on hotel Wi-Fi?
Yeah, why?
Never mind, I got it. I just had to change a few settings.
Great. Maybe we can get started then. Oh, great.
I think your mic is pushing up your speakers.
My mic?
Do you have headphones?
Want me to put them on?
No, I want you to smell them. No, I want you to put them on. Hey, Beth.
Hey everyone, sorry I'm late. I had to download a new version of the platform.
You should plan extra time for the updates. There's pretty much one every time.
Sounds like someone just joined.
Hey guys, it's John. I had to call in. I'm stuck in traffic. Have I missed anything yet?
No, it would have been nice for you to join the rest of us, but we'll see you when you get home. All right, while everyone is here, finally, Tyler, do you have that financial report?
Well, it's been the last few weeks updating our books, and I got some great news for you. Schedule from this point last year. We had a great Q1.
We lost Tyler, I think.
Am I frozen?
Hey, Trip, I think we lost Tyler.
Yeah, I know, we lost Tyler.
Hey guys, it sounded like Tyler was cutting out.
We know, John. All right, well, while we wait on Tyler, why don't we go over all of the reports from Beth, are you with us?
Oh yeah.
Okay, everyone, I know some of you have to leave soon, but I just wanted to go over a couple of the queries before. Okay, excuse me. My wife's out of town this week. I'm so sorry. Okay, you just spilt grape juice on the carpet. Daddy is in a meeting. Tyler, can you go over the numbers one more time, please?
I thought Beth had an adjustment. Hey, Beth.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, that's my iTunes.
Hey guys, hang on. I'm gonna join in. Hey, what platform are you guys on? Skype? FaceTime?
More and more people are being more disciplined in following SOP. So why do we still need virtual presentations? Are they still necessary? Do we still need to hone our skills and be familiar with virtual presentations? Or can we say that, you know what, COVID is going to be under control soon, we don't even need to equip ourselves with these skills? So first, because of COVID and because of how work from home has happened, and it has been kind of a success in some industries, work from home policies are being talked about. So virtual presentations, they're still going to be there because there'll be more and more people working from home by choice or by their employers, because their employers allow them to do so, because people have now found out that, hey, it is quite efficient, right? It can be done. So that is one. Another thing is about traveling overseas. At this current moment, it's still uncertain. We still do not know if we can fly as how we used to. Maybe in the beginning, it will open up only to certain countries, and then certain countries won't be able to travel overseas. So this portion is still a little bit uncertain. And another thing is running conferences. They do rack up a lot of costs. And as we've started to have a lot of these virtual conferences, virtual events, people have discovered that, hey, you know what? We could reduce our costs because of and having a virtual conference, right? So virtual presentations, in my opinion, there still be a need for it. I do not see that virtual presentations or the know-how of conducting virtual presentations, these will be extinct soon. So that's why I feel to be more better when doing or conducting these virtual presentations. But are they more difficult between conducting physical conferences and virtual conferences? What do you think? Are they more difficult or are they more easy? I'd like to discuss it a little bit with all of you. Would anyone like to volunteer to unmute themselves and share your opinion? Do you think the virtual presentations are more difficult or more easier?
Hello.
Hi.
Okay, my name is John. I would say it's more easier because less stress around real people, so you're just talking to your screen. What I would say.
All right. That's a good input, John. John, which university are you from?
I'm from Kuting University.
Oh, all right. So you find it less stressful, right? Because you're in a very comfortable situation where you maybe you have that opportunity to read from a script, something like that, right?
Yeah, that too as well. That'll be even better. Yeah, sheets or something.
All right, thank you for sharing.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you for sharing. Anyone else? Would anyone else also like to share their?
Can I interrupt?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, my name is Mohammed Azman from Ministry of Energy Malaysia. For the virtual presentation, sometimes I just not like virtual presentation because of the Wi-Fi leaking. Sometimes when I have a discussion, Wi-Fi leaking make me not understand what they want to say. And sometimes for me also I cannot make to understand the expression, but because for me face to face is more important because I can know how the expression with my ideas. Okay, that's thank you.
All right, that's a good point as well. So you find it a little bit more difficult. You like that face to face to see how the expression is and what they're feeling, right?
Yes, for the brainstorming, I just like to know this. If they like to know what are my idea or just it's a simple idea.
Sometimes people, the mouth, they say yes, but the face, yes, like that, right? So it's nicer to be face to face so that you know actually do they mean yes, or yes, right?
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else would like to share their opinion? I heard someone just now.
Yeah. Oh, hi. My name is Boon. I'm from UCSI University. So in my opinion, right, the virtual presentation actually is more difficult because for us and the lecturer, right, the lecturer will be much more harder as they actually have their family and then their children is going around, especially when the children are young. They have to take care of it. And I have a lecturer actually took a leave because of the children. Because my children is still like a baby, so we have to take care of it. And then for our side, right, I think it's really difficult. I mean, if you're going for physical, you can feel the stress because there are thousands of eyes looking at you. And you can feel that the nerve is there. But once you get used to it, right, you can feel it normal and you're going to be very good for it. But now I think it's very hard. After this, I mean, there's a lot of the students getting some problem in presentation on physical later on because they get used to it to the speed there. Yeah, so that's what my opinion.
Very good points, Boon. Thank you so much for sharing, and thank you to gentlemen also who shared. Yes, I do agree with all of those points, and as much as I wish that we had so much more time to discuss and see how we can tackle all those points, for today, I wanted to share perhaps just 3 tips to improve your next virtual presentation. First of all, what I wanted to share is on nailing your opening, right? Why is that opening so important? Now, if you imagine you're in a physical meeting or in a physical conference, it's in an auditorium, there's 1,000 people, and you're presenting, right? Perhaps your opening is not so strong, and people start to feel bored. What the audience would do, very rarely, from the 2-3 sentences they heard, they would suddenly walk out the door. What they would normally do is they open up their phone and start scrolling something on their phone. So you have the chance as a presenter, maybe your first slide was not so exciting, but your second slide, suddenly you did something so extraordinary that the audience that was initially bored, scrolling on their phone, they're like, oh, what happened? Oh, I have to listen what's happening here, right? But if you imagine in a virtual setting, that very first slide, if you did not capture that audience instantly, what is going to happen is that the audience has that ability to leave the call. So even if your second line was so bombastic, you said, oh, whoever's still in this call, I'm going to award you 2,000 ringgit. That person did not know in the first slide, that person had already left. So whatever you need to capture the audience, it needs to be from the get-go, from the opening itself. So I do have a formula that would help to engage with the audience, to not let them go out that meeting, and we'll discuss that later. The next one is perfecting your demo. So I do know, actually prepared this particular topic for the IMDC participants because I understand that you will have to perhaps share your demo this year, perhaps virtually. We might not be having a get-together like how we normally used to have, right? So perhaps the second point, perfecting your demo, is a little bit tailored for the IMDC participants, but it is also useful for the non-participants as well, right? So we'll go through that a little bit later. And the third tip that I wanted to share was to keep your head together. So you do prepare a lot, regardless, even if it's a virtual presentation, if it's a physical presentation, we do prepare a lot, right? But I just wanted to share a little bit tips on keeping your head together when technical issues happen, because as you all know, they like to happen at that most important time, right? So let's go to our first point, which is nailing that opening. So that opening, I'm sure a lot of you know, if you've taken writing classes or our Toastmasters friends, they know that in the opening, you state what is the problem, and then you share the solution. So for example, you say you identify the problem. What is the main pain point that you're trying to solve? And then you're going to say, oh, so today my presentation is about solving this problem that I just talked about. And then this is what the presentation is all about. And you're going to introduce that particular invention and then go into the next slide, right? So that is a traditional opening. But today I wanted to share with you a little formula that I learned myself just recently, which is nailing that opening with PAS. What does that mean? So itself is the same. There's a problem, there's a solution. Problem how? Identify a problem maybe in 2 sentences. what is the main pain point you're trying to solve in this invention or in this in the purpose of this presentation, and then the solution. Introduce the solution. What's this presentation all about? Really introducing what the solution all about, right? But what is the A? Now A is to agitate the audience, pull at the emotions of the audience, and make this problem that you were just telling about, make it their problem, so that by the time you want to share the solution, the audience will be at that point of emotion where they'll be like, oh, yes, this is a problem. Just tell me what the solution is. And even when you tell them what the solution is, for example, this innovation is about a mouse. The audience, because they're so agitated, they're so emotionally involved, they'll stay on just to listen to what your invention or what your presentation is all about. So I do have a little example here. So you could read it with me, or you could listen about how I read it. So firstly, I identify problem. More than 60 million plastic bottles are thrown away every day. A lot of them end up in landfills, but millions litter our streets, our parks, and waters. After time, this will cause irreversible damage to our planet. And then I introduce the solution. I will present to you today RoboBot, an innovation my team and I has come up with that will transform used plastic bottles into bricks that will reduce the number of these bottles in our landfills and delay destruction to our planet significantly, and at the same time create more shelter around the world. So that problem, maybe some people will be like, yeah, so nothing to do with me, right? Yeah, okay, so there's destruction gonna happen to our planet? Sure, fine, yeah, whatever. So imagine if we agitate the audience a little bit, right? So I'm gonna do that again with adding an agitation to the audience. More than 60 million plastic bottles are thrown away every day. A lot of them end up in landfills, but millions litter our streets, our parks, and our waters. After time, this will cause irreversible damage to our planet. But imagine going to the beach, and instead of pristine clear waters and soft silky sand beneath your feet, you see murky black waters and step on the crunch of plastic bottles. Now we complain of wearing masks when in public. Imagine having to carry an oxygen tank whenever going out because our air is too polluted. I will present to you today RoboBot, something that will delay destruction to our planet significantly, right? So by the time you're already sharing your solution, do you as an individual, you would already feel that emotion, right? Oh gosh, I missed the beach. Oh, if I don't do something, what I need to help do something, right? What is the solution to this problem? This is my problem too. This is not a problem that is only for the dolphins of the world or for animals or the trees, right? This is also my problem too. See, did that make a little bit of difference? Yes? No? So I would now like you to try it out. Identify a problem, add in something to agitate the audience, and introduce a solution. It could be a solution or an innovation that you are just thinking about now, or it could be something as simple as a problem of where to eat dinner later on. Just have one sentence to identify what the problem is, one sentence to kind of agitate the audience or pull at the emotions of the person that you're going to speak to, and then propose a solution, right? So that is the exercise. What I would like everyone to do is try it out. Problem statement, agitate the audience, and provide a solution. I will give you about 2 minutes, and then maybe after that we could have maybe 2 people to share what they've come up with, right? All right. Is there anyone in this conference call who would like to volunteer to share with us their opening speech or opening for their presentation? No worries, there's no right or wrong. Anyone like to share?
Can I go with that?
Sure.
Okay,
go ahead.
Yeah,
introduce yourself.
My name is Boon, Tae Boon Hong. I'm from UCSI. I'm going to do a very short one. Okay. So for my problem statement, right? Okay. Okay. Problem statement is the water shortage in Malaysia. Okay. So be like in every year there actually will be more or less 2 or 3 times water shortage in certain area. Okay. So this is my problem statement. Okay. So my agitate is imagine if after you work with the sweat or you no sweat, but when you go home, you open your bath, you open your water tap, and you realize there's no water, and you come bath, that's going to be very smelly for a few days. And so that's what I related to the audience itself. And my solution is, okay, we have to enforce the law. That's the very first thing, and increase the fine or think another method to solve it. The second thing that I have to do a regular check on the water, on the river quality, to identify which industry are producing, they're polluting the water from the river. Okay, yeah. So that's a short one. I'm not really.
Yeah, that was a very good work. In that short amount of time that you managed to come up with that, and your agitate, I like it very much, because it is something that you would imagine yourself, right? Oh, come back from work. Oh, you can't even take a shower. Like, yes, let's solve this. How, right? Very good, good job done. Thank you so much, Un, for sharing. Would there be anyone else who would also like to share what they managed to come up with the short time that was given?
That's all from me.
Wow, that was I honestly got some shivers just listening to that short statement. Ibrahim, job well done. That was also a very good opening speech, or an opening that really would capture and invoke emotion in the listener. Well, at least for me, it did. So job well done. So yeah, I hope y'all understood the concept of this formula, the PAS: problem, state the problem, agitate the audience, and then provide a solution. Practice it a little bit more. Try and add it into your conversations, especially when you have proposals or you have ideas that you want to share, just to make it add a little bit more oomph to it by agitating the audience or agitating the person who's listening, right? Right. The next tip that I wanted to share was about showcasing that perfect demo. So this is a photo of a conference where we had many booths where people walk about, and then they get introduced to what that booth was all about. Maybe it's a new invention, maybe it's a new method of doing something, but anyhow, you could see how interesting it is. I myself been to a few IMDC events where I had all these demos or inventions from fellow participants, and it was very exciting for me because I could walk about to those booths and watch all the teams explaining what they did, showing the demo there, explaining how they did it, how many, like how long, or things like that, right? And it's very I think it is a very exciting conference to be at, where you have all these innovators in one place and you learn things. And for the innovator itself, I think this is a very good place because you've done all the hard work. Now this is the one place to showcase that demo, showcase what you did, how you did it, answer questions, and be proud of that particular demo, right? Unfortunately, nowadays conferences are being done virtually. So how do you showcase that demo to the audience with that same pride, with the same level of quality? So I have an example. This is from my own personal experience. I did have to conduct a virtual demo, or demo something that I was doing virtually, and I learned a lot of things along the way. So just wanted to share a little bit of what not to do and how we could improve that particular demo. So unfortunately, I cannot show you what goes on in my lab, but I can kind of bring you into the environment of it, right? So this is actually a video that was shot in my lab. I'm focusing only on the monitor, but let's just imagine that this particular video is actually what my demo is all about. But then you'll still be able to hear what's going on in the lab. So ladies and gentlemen, this is a demonstration of an invention that we did about having fireworks. So as you can see, fireworks during New Year, it goes off. And then you can see how beautiful the lights are. They're red, they got the splendid. And like this, you can see, right? It's going off from a very far distance. I don't think that was a pretty good demo. I mean, I feel embarrassed myself just trying to do that. First of all, what I learned that day was that my lab is very noisy. Actually, that background noise that you heard was actually from my lab. That's the sound that comes out from all the stuff that goes around in the lab. During that day when I did this virtual demo, for some reason, I did share, because I had another video, right? So I was sharing, like I'm doing now, I'm sharing with audio. In my particular video, I did not mute the video. So did y'all think that while I was trying to explain the video, having that background noise was a little bit annoying, right? Yes? Also, because I was trying to speak on top of it, I was not being very synchronized with the video itself. I was trying to look at the video and trying to see what I can speak about it. And then, of course, having those presentation jitters, there were some points that I forgot, or some points that just did not come in sync with the particular video. So a better example was, luckily at that time when I was doing this virtual demo presentation, we had a mock run. And someone gave me this idea that I should maybe do a voiceover on top, so that voiceover on top of the video, right? So this is how it kind of came about. This is an example of a video that already has voiceover incorporated. This allows you to play the video and the audience can admire the New Year fireworks in Taiwan without actually being physically there. This also allows you to time what you want to say with what the video is showing. You can even add background music to make the video a little bit more fun. Try it out and see if this makes your demos more interesting. So I did get suggestions to have voiceover, right? So that even on the day of the presentation, if I was feeling jitters, all I had to do was I just play the video, and I had that maybe how long your video is, maybe that 2 minutes to kind of breathe in and breathe out and let the video do all the talking for me.
Okay, Karina, I like that idea where you put the voice over the video. Maybe you could share with the folks what tool did you use to put the voiceover?
Oh, I actually used something called voice recorder. It is something that I found on Microsoft Office, Microsoft App Store on my laptop, and I just typed at that moment of time video voiceover recorder, and I came up with a pretty some tools, and this tool is pretty easy to use. So let me just show it. So it just looks like this: voiceover video, and then you can download your video and just talk over it. So here you can reduce the sound from the original video, and this voiceover is when you talk over it. So this particular video is something that I did this morning, and it's not the first video that I recorded and I directly put it in the slides, right? So I could write a script, I could do it in many different ways until I was satisfied with it. And that's something that you could also do in your video. So now perhaps I would like to open up to the floor. From that particular video, I'm sure some of you here also dabbled in video production, right? What other improvements could you have made to that particular video from the initial one that I showed that was background noisy and myself trying to speak over and describe what that video was all about? Perhaps is there any other improvements that anyone would like to share to add on and to make this video a little bit more, even more interesting for a demo?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, my name is Zarina from UTM. So
okay,
I think I think we can add subtitles and some logo for our product development. I think it's more interesting.
Yep, that's a very good suggestion. Thank you very much, Selina. That's a very good suggestion. Yes, I do agree. Having some subtitles would also help. In case your voiceover, you're not very clear or what you're saying, perhaps also subtitles would also help. Also having that logo, right? Perhaps for me, I'm from Intel. I want to put an Intel logo somewhere, incorporate that, so at least people know what that video is all about, who are the people, or maybe somewhere, maybe you want to have your team name or something, a branding of that video, something in that art, right, Zarina? Right. Thank you for that suggestion. Is there anyone else on the call that would like to also share their thoughts? Any other improvements they'd like to share?
Hello.
Hello. Yes.
Yeah, I'm Zikrin from UITM. Maybe we can add some music, some background music to the video.
Yeah, that is a very good idea as well. Maybe an upbeat melody in the background, right? So you have like a melody in the background and then your voice a little bit more louder, just to make it a little bit more upbeat and more interesting, right? Yeah, that's very good suggestions. And you know why also having a video is very much suggested, at least from my side. I would really recommend, especially if you have a demo that you want to show, why video is having a video, incorporating a video is very much, it's a good idea. Just now in the beginning, someone did mention that connections, they would get their videos choppy, lagging, they won't be able to hear it properly, right? If you have a video, post it somewhere. If you can post it on YouTube, if you have a YouTube link, you can put it on YouTube, or you could put it in a Dropbox or a Google Drive, someplace where you can share it. So when you are going to share your video, what you could also do is share, maybe in the chat box, the link to the video. So in case someone is not able to follow that video with you because due to whatever reasons, right? Their internet is bad. It's the presentation, it looks choppy, it's lagging, it's being cut off. They can maybe go using their phone perhaps and click on the YouTube and follow and see that video that you wanted to share, right? So it doesn't, it gives the audience another avenue to look at that demo, that presentation, that demo that you came up with. It's something that you worked hard for it. You want people to see it, right? So make sure that even though don't punish those that do not have a fast connection, right? It's not their fault. Maybe they're staying in places that they don't get a very good internet and not be able to follow on the presentation itself. But at least if you give an option to maybe download that video, the audience would be able to enjoy that video at their own convenience. So that's also another reason why having a video of your demo is very much a good idea to do. Right. And now I would like, yes, go ahead, Sikri.
I have a question. If there are just so many things to be highlighted in the video, should we mention all of the things, all of the points, or we should be writing everything and let the audience read it out? Which do you think is better option for us to do?
The demo, what the demo is supposed to do is
for the demo.
show. Yeah, so the demo, what the demo is supposed to do is to show how it is going to be in action, right? Like for example, just for example, there's this innovation is how to make this bottle. Okay, this mouse to move, right, from one place to another place. But in that innovation, there was a lot of building blocks to it. My suggestion would be to not let your presentation be a video 100%. To also have perhaps like a presentation, like you lead up to the demo. So you share, okay, this is the building blocks, these are the block diagram, and these are the different components. And then after that, in the video, don't make it too long, and just you don't have to explain everything using the video itself, but the video is more to just show how it works. So for example, it was using certain technologies, You don't have to share that this technology was being used, and in this technology we coded like this and like that and like this. It's sufficient just to say that this is the technology that was used, and then after the demo portion of the demo video, whatever it is, maybe it's 5 minutes, and then in your presentation, go ahead and then just share. Okay, this is the technologies that was being used. Does it make sense, Tikrin?
All right, thank you.
Right.
Yeah, yes, it does.
Okay, hope that helped. So now let's go to the last tip that I wanted to share is on keeping your head together. In virtual presentations, it's very challenging, it's very difficult, that there are a lot of distractions that come, maybe from your side as a presenter and also from the audience. For example, distractions on my side as a presenter. I could have a phone call come in. I could suddenly have my cat run in. Just now I heard him meowing, but the door was closed, so he didn't really run in. Someone mentioned that the lecturers were having small kids, and there's just all these distractions as a presenter that you have to go through or handle, right? There are also distractions from the audience. Perhaps an audience joins in and does not mute themselves. So as you are speaking as a presenter, someone joins in and then they're creating some background noise, and then you get distracted as a presenter and also as an audience listening in, right? That is from the point of distractions. Technicalities, the Wi-Fi, the internet, you're having bad connections or no connections at all, slow bandwidth. This is very, very common. Sometimes it actually even happened to me. I would say I have pretty good bandwidth. My internet has always been reliable, but there was one day that I had to present, and for some reason it was not even connecting. So the key learning is that always have a backup. So now I've always have my phone with me. I put it on silent because I don't want suddenly a phone call coming in and distracting me, or a message coming in to distract me. But in the event that suddenly my Wi-Fi goes down, or I didn't pay my bill or something, I could quickly turn on my mobile hotspot and connect through that. That's one. Another thing is, if possible, try to get a wing person or a teammate to help. In the event that when you are presenting and the audience join in, not muting yourself, you're already starting to get distracted, right? And then after some time, maybe 2, 3, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, then you'll excuse me, everyone, whoever who's not muted, please mute yourself. Before that even happens, if you have a teammate who is always alert for this, they would help to mute these people, right? So your presentation flow, even though distracted for that 1, 2 seconds, it won't really continue on. And another good reason to have a wing person or a teammate is that in the event that you do not have good connection, suddenly for some reason you are not able to connect, you're just presenting 1 slide, 2 slides, and then you can't even connect or share your slides anymore, even though you're still connected, a teammate who has your slides can continue sharing your slides, and you can continue to talk upon or on top of that, right? So being prepared for these kind of things does help to keep you calm. You have prepared, especially for the IMDC participants, right? You're doing so much for this presentation, for this innovation, and then now you want to present, and then suddenly everything goes wrong. You prepared for it for so long, so always have a backup. Regardless, to help you mute other people, to help you if you're having bad connection. But as they say, you prepare so much for the unthinkable. You have every backup in place, but sometimes things just fail. So when they do fail, when all else fails, for me, I hug my cat. I hug my cat for a while, and then maybe I try and reschedule, right? Tell the organizer, can you please push out my session another 30 minutes? I'm really having some difficulties. I need to debug this for a while. Please push it 30 minutes, and just keep calm, because when the minute you start freaking out, that's when everything crumbles, right? And in these situations, all of us have gone through it. We all know how technical sometimes are jealous of us. Technical issues comes when they most are not welcome. So keep your head together. Maybe for you, you're the thing that keeps you calm is not hugging a cat. Maybe it's drinking bubble tea. Maybe it's I don't know what. But do that something. Just breathe, 3 deep breaths, and then keep calm, and then try and reschedule. Right? So that is the 3 tips that I had. I had one last message for everyone, and it goes back to my first first thing that I shared, right? When you want to learn something or get to know something, it's easiest or it's more fun when you know someone, and that's why we have that introduction, right? So people connect to you more when they know you, and I feel the easiest way to get people to know you is to at least let people know what you look like. So my last message is, you know what, avoid being a faceless voice to your audience. Turn yourself from camera shy to camera confident. So I know many times when you do these virtual presentations, we don't even turn on our videos. I would like to say that it's not really scary at all turning on your video. I'm sure all of you today, you don't really mind what I look like. Just a little secret, I do have a big pimple here, but I'm sure none of you really noticed my pimple. So it's not really scary at all turning on the camera. So I do encourage all of you, when at least, not as an audience, but at least try and start when you're presenting to turn on that camera so that at least your audience, they can know you a little bit more, and it is a little bit more interesting for the audience. Right. So that is all I had today. I would take a little questions, but I understand that we had a little interactive recorded virtual presentation, or meaning, so for example, you have this. I already pre-recorded this presentation, and then on the day of the presentation, it just played. So there's the slides and all that, right? Is that what it means?
Yes, yes.
There is, for me, in my opinion, I don't really prefer that method. Reason being is that I do like to be interactive. I do like to ask opinions and I have it interactive. But in your case, perhaps it is a presentation, right? It's just a presentation. It's just a one-way presentation of sharing some inputs or some data, and there's no feedback needed. Again, because what would happen is you would be playing a video. Playing a video would take a little bit more bandwidth rather than, for example, if I'm just presenting, the worst that could happen is if my connection goes bad, I will turn off my video and I will send the slides via email through others. So what would happen is just me, my voice, and talking you through the slides. But in the event that you already pre-recorded the whole thing, it will be a video. Someone will have to play the video, and you have to make sure that the connection of the recipient or whoever is watching is good enough to watch that video without any choppiness or any lagging. And also on the side of the person who will be playing the video, that they have enough bandwidth to share that or to play that video. So that's where you would have to make that judgment call if that's something that you would like to take the risk on. Did that answer your question, Zikrin?
Yeah, but do you think it actually can deliver the message that we're trying to deliver?
It actually can. If you are, because at the end of the day, to deliver the message, the method is not that important. Meaning to say, it doesn't matter if I'm sharing with you and now live, or if I'm if you don't see my face and you can't see my facial expressions. At the end of the day, is how that message has been delivered. You could do it the same way, you using your vocal variety. If it's recorded, or if you're able to do that presentation with much animation and vocal variety in that recorded session, I think that's fine as well. So it will be able to deliver that message as well.
All right, thank you.
This is Kaho here. Maybe I can help to add a bit. For the Innovate Malaysia, for the first round of the judging, it will be you have to record the whole thing in a video, right? So that one there's no choice. Okay, that you send in the video, and then after that, after the teams are selected, okay, during this arranged session for Q&A, yeah, there's a time when you just answer questions by the judges, right? So that time there's no presentation; it's only question and answer, right? Okay, but when it comes to the final, okay, the grand finale, then there will still be presentation. So in that time, then we will actually encourage you for the presentation part. We still encourage you to do the live one, okay? And then, but for the demo, then yeah, I think it's better to actually use video, right? So you have a mixture of the video to ensure that everything are actually like well prepared, okay, and then you can show smoothly. And then, but for this slide presentation, then as a point of from the point of view of the judges, I think it's better to actually do it live. Yeah, that's
so
my
in that case, because the first portion is memang is a video, right? So what my
Yes.
recommendation is that when you are shooting that video, make sure you're a little bit more animated. Don't sound that you're just reading. Have a little bit more vocal variety, or if possible, have your face there as well in your video, if it's possible to do that, just to show a little bit more interest, or capture the audience a little bit more and get that message across.
Okay, thank you.
I see someone raising their hand. If it's a question, you are most welcome to unmute and ask.
Karina, last question. Do you have any tips on how to close a presentation based on your experience?
How to close your presentation? Actually, closing the presentation is very important. In a sense that, especially if a presentation, before that, let me just ask, for IMDC, how long are the presentations?
10 to 15 minutes.
10 to 15 minutes. All right. So sometimes, okay, let's talk generally, right? If the presentation is a bit too long, people might forget why they're even sitting in. So the closing is best to have to summarize, to remind people why they're actually sitting there in the first place. Now, for IMDC, perhaps, if you're a IMDC participant, how I would suggest you to close it up is to share again why this innovation was important, right? Just to wrap it up again. So in the beginning, in the opening, you already said this is a problem, and suddenly you started to tug at people's emotions and make it their problem, right? And then you gave the solution, and then for the 10-15 minutes, you're saying, okay, this is our innovation, this is what we invented, and this is how we did it, and this is the future plan for it. And then try and wrap it all up again, just to share again and say that remind people this is the problem statement, and this is the solution again, and then just add a little bit more on what are the future plans for it. Like, is this going to be, this is the future in 2025, this is what we see going to happen, or something like that, right? Just to tie back from your opening and to let the audience kind of feel how important it is for our future. Does it make sense? Yeah, something in the art. That's how it
Makes a lot of sense. Thank you, Karina.
Good. Thank you for everyone's participation. Are there any other questions on the call? If there are none, I would first like to thank the organizers, Dreamcatcher, for allowing me this opportunity to share a little bit on this topic. Something that I'm very passionate about. I'd like to also thank all the audiences that I know they were scheduled only for an hour, right? But a lot of you are hung in there and stayed on even 20 minutes after time. So thank you very much for staying on. To all the IMDC participants, I wish you all the best. And I look forward to seeing what you have to share in the finale. Back to Nikki.
Thank you, Karina. Thank you for your time and for sharing. I think it would be very useful for the IMDC participants because they have to actually create videos and to do presentations, and I hope they do understand and take note of all that you've shared today. So for those who are with IMDC, please record your attendance. If you have, thank you. You may feel free to leave.